parenting is, I think, one of the, the biggest influences in how you approach relationships, right? For a lot of people, I think that in my own personal experience, I never felt like my relationship with my parents or the trauma from the relationship with my parents affected my relationships until one day my therapist told me otherwise. And even when she first told me, it was hard to see it. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely a real thing that parenting affects relationships. So that's what we're going to get into today, man. Bro, I really think I can hit any bitch.
How could you say that? How could you have that mentality?
Why is it so hard to get some head from yo bitch? It's easier to get head from a brand new bitch.
Unrelatable.
Than yo bitch.
You can't have no expectations if you looking for this, but you fucking with niggas who not looking for that. That nigga gotta be on the same type of time you on for you to get exactly what you want.
So what you bring to the table? If you don't bring shit to the table, nigga, you better sweep, mop, and motherfucking wax the flows on the way to that bitch.
Welcome to Terry Rosen Podcast, man. We back.
Unrelatable.
Welcome to Terry Rosen Podcast. We back, man. Listen, parenting, man. Let's jump right into it. Do you feel like, in what ways do you feel like your parenting affected your dating life? Like the way you were parented growing up affected your dating life?
In the aspect of the inability to thoroughly communicate. So I grew up in a 2-parent household. I did, but my dad more so. I have 2 older brothers. So my dad was more so focused on like the school related things. Mm-hmm. So if we got in trouble at school or we got bad grades, he would handle that. But my mom was the behavioral parent.
Right.
So that was just like in regards to like talking back and like not listening or whatever. And I just feel like I was never put truly like in a position as a child to be able to thoroughly express myself in a way that wasn't visualized to be disrespectful. So I think that when I started dating at like 17, 18 or whatever, like I held a lot of shit in. Like it was a lot of shit that like was done to me that like I didn't respect or desire to deal with, but I didn't know how to communicate that because I was always told like, you need to just listen to what you're told and like that's it. So being young still, and at 17 I started dating, I'm still being told that in the house. Like I'm still being told like, like you're being disrespectful by saying anything.
Right.
So it's like it made it very difficult for me to express myself in regards to like shit that I wasn't cool with in my relationships.
Absolutely, man. I forgot to pay the dues first, man. We brought to you by Killer Cocktails.
Hey, y'all already know. Killer Cocktails in the building as always. We are really approaching the warm weather, guys. We got a little taste this weekend. We back to the bullshit, obviously, right now. But I really feel like once April is over, May's going to be great. Anybody booking events or whatever may have you, like, hit me up. I feel like I am the most efficient liquor business.
Not you feel like. You are.
You right. You know what? You right. I am the most efficient liquor business in Chicago. To go, everything, bartending services, pull up, drive up, meet up, whatever, doesn't matter. And also, this next event that we're having, Battle of the Zodiacs, it will be sponsored by Killer Cocktails. So anybody that has not had the opportunity to experience the Killer Cocktails, this will be your chance. Slide to the show and shit, pop to the bar and buy a drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to jump right into something you just said, though, about like being raised in a way where you can't. Everything is seen as talking back, like everything. And
Literally,
I was raised the exact same way.
breathe.
Like you can't even ask a motherfucker why you got to do some shit, like nothing. And I was raised like that. And then when I began to start teaching, I taught these 2 brothers, and one of them got molested as a kid, and he had a lot of trauma from that. But his mom was super like anti-authority. He was super anti-authority, always getting in trouble, and his mom like. One of them kids, like, he could set the fucking school on fire. His mama gonna come and be like, how the fuck y'all let him in with a match? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was, like, on ass about him no matter what the fuck he did, right? Like, that nigga could do no wrong.
My kid can't do no wrong
And at first, I didn't understand why they were so anti-authority. And basically, their mom, after that happened to him, their mom began to teach them, like, hey, all adults not right. like y'all don't have to listen to everything adults say. And like at that young age, they kind of took that and applied it to where they wanted to. So like, I don't like this teacher, I'm not listening to you. Like, you know
I don't
what I'm
have
saying?
to listen to you.
So it kind of had its pros and cons, but I kind of adapted that. Like the whole him being molested shit was crazy because it's like as a kid, if you are taught like adults are right, be quiet,
You don't think that's
you could
wrong.
fall into that type of situation. So with my son, I always even told I always told his parents, my parents, his grandparents,
Like you are his parent.
right? I always told his grandparents and shit like that. Even like, hey, I want him to ask why, like all the time, no matter what's going on. I want him to ask why in a respectful way.
Because it's really not that hard of a question to answer.
Exactly.
So when we used to ask our parents, like, why we getting popped upside the head and shit? Because y'all don't feel like explaining?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing disrespectful about asking why. There's nothing disrespectful about asking for clarification, regardless of how old you are.
Yeah.
That's just weird shit. Like, my mom hates it because I'm almost 30. So, like, I tell my mom, and it might be like a hee-haw moment, but, like, it's really not fucking funny. I tell her all the time that she abused me. And she be like, girl. And I'm like, girl. Like, the hell? Like, and my mother didn't whoop me that much.
Right.
So it's like a lot of kids that I know got beat all the fucking time.
Right.
It's just like, damn. And I think about that and I'm like, that's a fucked up childhood. But like when my mother, she didn't beat me all the time, but when she did, it's like, bro, I would rather get 10 minor
Like regular whoopings.
whoopings versus this one, like, beating my ass upside the head. Like, yeah. So like, it's crazy. And that, it would be from minuscule shit.
Facts. And I feel like, you know, even with my son, that shit get annoying at times. Because that nigga asks why for everything. I can tell that nigga, like, put some house shoes on.
Why?
You know why? We talk about this every day, bro.
Why?
Like,
But I
you know what I'm
gotta
saying?
ask why,
Like,
because you gave me that
like, exactly.
opening
So it's
to do
like,
so.
it's pros and cons to it, but I feel like motherfucker wouldn't be able to finesse him.
And it's great.
I was gonna say two things. One, with parents, I feel like y'all got, well, I don't have kids yet, but like I feel like it's a great realization to realize like you bring a blank piece of paper on this earth, and you have to write your shit on it, or somebody else is gonna write their shit on your paper. It's like printer paper. Like, this is your 8x11, and if you don't want them to have something written on it that you didn't write, you gotta write that shit. And those are the whys and how specific you gotta be. But also, like Kim, you were saying like communication, like I can relate like big time, because not only was I not allowed to speak, it was like, who you talking to? You better not say another word. Like, cool. But then like when I started trying to write to like have it to be an outlet, my mom would like invade my privacy
Yes,
and
girl.
read my shit.
Girl.
And then it's like now I have no way to
Girl.
communicate. And so like as an adult, I'm going on 30 and like I have the toughest time. I know exactly what I want to say, and in my mind it sounds fucking amazing. But when I get to talking, it's like,
Damn.
what was it? So it's like I'm just now learning to write because I got my own house and nobody can read my shit.
Yeah.
And now I'm learning to communicate because I feel like I have to be in a super safe space to talk and, you know, to be heard. Like, I was writing to the point, if I was want to be like, I'm mad at my mom, I would have to write the first letter of everything, like I-M-M. So it would be a bunch of, like, coded shit. So, like, my brain is coded like that, just so nobody would read my shit and wouldn't know what I said. I couldn't even go back and tell you what the fuck that meant.
Right, because it's like in that moment, that's what I was feeling, and I don't know.
Get that shit out. And it was like, now it's like, it's fucking up how I communicate with anything, anybody, in regular conversation. And I'm very smart.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Is that the origin story of Remy the writer? That's how you became
You feel
the
me?
writer.
Like,
that's some real shit.
yeah. Because, I mean, and, like, parents don't realize, like, at the time, like, how much their, like, actions toward us, like, are literally building us to be a certain way.
For sure.
A negative
So
way,
a
yeah.
negative way or a positive. Like, and that's what I'm
positive.
trying to, like, latch onto in my motherhood, because I'm not trying to be like what I experienced. And I'm never gonna sit here and call my mom a bad mom.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm never ever gonna sit here and be like, my mom was fucking terrible. Like, but like growing, like getting older, and I'm glad, like, now that I'm older and I have chosen to actually see things for how they really are instead of just blaming one person, because honestly, life is a trickle-down effect. Like, everything comes from something. So knowing my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, I get it. Like the way my mother was when I get it.
Right.
Like I get it. So I separated my mother from her mother and her traumas, and I had to like get down to our shit.
For sure. And it's crazy because now that I'm grown, as far as just like parents, and it's certain shit that stick with you forever. Meaning like maybe it's an incident or maybe it's just something they was doing continuously. But I never forget. I was in high school, and I got my mom, I got my stepdad. That's who I stay with on a regular, and I got my real daddy. And he was an active father for the most part. He wasn't the coldest nigga in the world, but for the most part, he was there. You know what I'm saying? He paid for shit. He come get me on the weekends, and it was a time where I couldn't get in contact with that nigga for like a month and a half. Calling his phone, the phone ringing, that bitch going through, and he not picking up. So, now, like I say, I'm a teenager, but I'm still a kid. You know what I'm saying? So I tell my mama, like, well, shit, I'm kind of like fake worried now. I'm gangbanging and shit at the time, too. So, like, man, what is this nigga missing? Is he kidnapped? Is he, you know what I'm saying? Like, and my stepdaddy and my mama, we get in the car, and we drive to where he located, or supposed to be located at the time. And I knock on the door. Lady come to the door, the chick he was fucking with at the time, and she opened the door. My daddy standing like at the end of the hallway, and I'm looking. I see this nigga. So that was a situation that fucked me up because it's like, nigga, you supposed to be dead. And when
because I've been reaching out. So if nothing at all, you should be somewhere smoked or
I've been reaching out,
or locked up or something.
I've been reaching out. I've been hitting your line, and nigga, you right here.
There's no explanation.
You know what I'm saying? Like those was one of those situations where like me and my daddy, we ain't into it. We ain't fucked up, but like I say, and I ain't no petty nigga. I usually let shit go, like a lot of shit. I let shit go. But those one of those parenting moments for him that's stamped. Meaning like, nigga,
if I forget everything else about you, I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah, like that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Nigga, if I don't remember nothing else about you,
I'm gonna remember this.
Remember that time where like, nigga,
I'm calling you. I'm worried about you genuinely, and for a kid,
you've been a part of my life
that's heavy.
Forever. And just ducked off and was not picking up the phone. And I don't know if it was a pride thing, because for the most part, if my daddy couldn't be a parent as far as being there in time,
your stepdaddy was.
He was a parent as far as being there financially. So even if he couldn't be there, he'd make sure shit was handled when my mama called him like, hey, he need this, he need that. That was never an issue. That was never an issue. And I think around this time, that was the issue. I'm still in high school, so I still need bus cars. I still need school clothes. And I think it was a pride thing.
Has you bonded with your stepfather?
Yeah, my stepfather is my father.
Oh, well, then that's like, what it was. The fuck?
Yeah.
It got to that point where you was becoming a man.
We 2 years apart, so my stepfather been part of my life.
It got to the point where you were becoming a man.
So
now it was like, all I can do
before I was walking
is provide financially. Nigga, like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, so, and it wasn't even about that. It was about that's what he thought. I think he thought he was fucked up at the time. So, damn, I know I've been taking care of this nigga and been his parent financial wise this whole time, and I'm fucked up right now, and I can't do that. So that's the only way he know how to parent. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. He know he gotta be there financially because that's what he been doing. And it was to me like, I'm a kid, but nigga, my stepdaddy.
That's not what I need.
Yeah, my stepdaddy and my mama do that shit too.
And they take me outside. Yeah, and they show me a good time. Yeah, you know and I have fun. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So I don't need you for that, nigga. You my biological father, and you been around, nigga. So
that's my experience right now.
I need you for.
That's my experience right now. Like, my baby daddy just think that his child support is just like, oh my God, like, I need that shit so bad. I really be trying to tell this nigga, like, nigga, like, I have money.
Yeah, so like, that was one of those things
I got
that,
money.
like, so with that situation happening, I'm just knowing, like, the effect as being a parent now, the way you move and the shit that you do,
have an effect
on a child
a long-lasting effect.
A long last, because that's one of those incidents, nigga, I still think about sometime to myself, and then to be like, why did he neglect me? You know what I'm saying?
And I'm grown as fuck.
So same shit, right? Like, how did parenting affect my dating life specifically, right? my relationship with my mom was always bad for as long as I can remember. And like, people would tell, like when I got grown, people started telling me stories about how my mom was moving the years that I couldn't remember because I was too young type shit. And it be fucked up shit that I wish motherfuckers didn't tell me. But at the same time, like, we just had a bad relationship since I was a kid. I remember, for my youngest thing I can remember happening was they got into a fight. My mom and my dad got into a fight. He was in the bed asleep, door locked, them in there with him. She kicked the door in, and then they started fighting over some shit, and she knocked the fan over on his foot. He kicked the fan off, the fan hit her. She called the police, said he kicked her in the stomach. This nigga locked up, right? So he get locked up, but it's like, at the time, I'm an only child. This is our first apartment together, so it's like just me for the first time. Like, this is my first time being out the house with my cousins and shit where we grew up.
I remember you saying
And so it's like me and my dad, like, locked in. Like, this is like my best friend. He take me everywhere. Me and my mom relationship not good. It's only us three, so this nigga like everything. So the whole time he was locked, I don't know how long that shit was, but to me it felt like it was forever, right? So we had this bad relationship. So boom, fast forward, I turned 17. I graduated high school. My OG kicked me out one day. She kicked me out the crib, and I had to, I was sleeping in my car for a while or whatever like that. But like when the night she kicked me out, my dad was at work, right? Because I felt like he wouldn't have let that shit happen.
Absolutely not.
So when the next day I pulled back up, you know what I'm saying, on my dad, he was in the garage and shit. I knew what time he was gonna get off work. I know he'd be in the garage for like an hour before he come in the house. That's when you know you don't want. That's when you know your relationship ain't. So
Gotta find anything.
I know what time this nigga gonna be in the garage and shit like that. So I pull up on him and I tell him what happened, and he like, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was always gonna come a day where it was just gonna be me and your mom. So I'm on her side. Like, whatever she say, that's what it is type shit. So that shit was like mind blowing, right? And then also like,
Damn.
my mom told my family. So like my grandma had a big part in raising me, and she was kind of like she wasn't my mom, but she was like that motherly figure that I did have that bond with. And she had told everybody that I had hit her in the head with a Kool-Aid pitcher and ran away, which is some weird shit. But people believed it. And then my more extended family, and this is just like people telling me what they were told type shit. My extended family she said some shit like I was in the streets real bad, and if I lived at their crib, like if they let me live at their crib, somebody's gonna shoot their house up or some shit like that. So I had like, it was like almost like it was made sure I had nowhere to go type shit. So I had to sleep in the car.
Really,
now,
really
none of that was true,
up.
right?
And I genuinely feel like, I mean, and like, I'm not just specifically talking about your mom. Like, sorry.
Right.
But like people like that, like, do you really get to see heaven?
Damn.
Whoa. She made this some religious shit.
I'm saying, no, I'm not. Whatever people's version of heaven is, because to be honest, I genuinely don't feel like there's a heaven and hell.
Hey.
I don't believe in hell.
I feel like I don't believe in hell, but I believe in heaven.
And the only reason, the only reason I'm in tune with what you saying is because my cousin, my blood cousin called me recently and said some shit that his grandma did. And I think as a kid, you assume your grandma going straight to heaven. You know what I'm saying?
You assume everybody going to heaven.
Right, until you get grown.
Exactly.
When you were shorty, you assume like people like grandparents, man, that's Jesus Christ's sister. She's going to heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
He told me
Jesus Christ's sister.
He told me
I
some
felt
shit
that.
his grandmother did, and I'm like,
she's going to hell, bro.
fuck her.
She's going to stop on her.
Hey, it's niggas out here got a homie that's that done killed 7 people. They got him with angel wings and a halo on this
and it's like, no, let's be honest. Let's normalize being honest about the fact that your friends are not ever going to be God. Please. Give it up.
Hey,
Rest
man,
in
but
peace,
look.
homie. Fly high up there. Fly where? Dive down. Stop playing.
Look, hey, but hold on. Get back to it, though.
You R.I.P. in heaven, and you know
Talk about
they are
rest
not
in peace.
heaven.
Rest in fire.
Hey, get back to the topic, though. So the way that affect my dating life, like when that shit happened with my mom, right? Like I only had 3 serious relationships in life so far. So my first relationship, I felt like it didn't affect it at all. And going through all my relationships, I never felt like that. When I got in therapy, I was going through some shit with a chick, and my therapist was like, when people hurt you, and they tell you why, you can't accept the answer why. Like, it's always like it's not registering your brain like that this is true what they saying. It's like you can't take it at face value. you want to know like, nah, that can't be why. I got to be something deeper than that. Why you would do some shit like that? And she was like, basically, you're not arguing with them. You arguing with your mom. You trying to find an answer that she never gave you. Like you never was able to process, or you never really talked to her about why she did some of the shit that she did that fucked you up. So you looking for that answer through other people. When they do fucked up shit to you, you cannot accept why they did it. Like you feel like if you love me, you wouldn't have never done this type shit. So I realized that it did affect my relationships in a way that I never imagined and shit. And when she first told me that, I'm just like, I ain't believe it until I got into another situation. I was like,
oh shit.
Like, damn, I'm doing it again. Look, like, you know what I'm saying? So it do fuck people up though. Like it definitely do fuck people up the way that you are parented. And like I say, on the positive end though, I will say, like I say this all the time on the show, like my dad was a fucking comedian in the house. Like, and I feel like I took that on as like, I'm always try to make my girlfriend laugh, because my father was always on some funny shit all day. Like the nigga just played too much type shit.
I think like in regards to like if I had to speak positivity over the situation, I just think that it affected my dating life in a positive way. I don't know, like one thing that I can say about my mom is she was probably stressed out a lot, which in turn, like you that show like that affects how you parent. But one thing I will say about her, like my mom held shit down. Like she held shit down. Like I'm an unexpected child. My brothers are 8 and 10 years my senior. So my mom was not trying to have any more kids, and I mean I came out the blue. And I was a twin. My twin passed away, but she was about to have 2 more kids, like, you know? But one thing that I can say is my mom always fucking held it down. Like, in regards to, like, how she nurtured anything that I was interested in.
That's dope as hell.
That's, like, that was the most amazing thing to me. I mean, I started singing at 3 years old. Hey. And my mom was working. She was a bank teller. So I was with my grandma. But the moment that my grandma realized I could sing, she told my mom. And my mom immediately started nurturing that shit.
Hey, Cam, as far as the mother thing you just said, one thing about my mother, and I guess she had so much of a fucked up childhood, my OG, and now that I'm grown, I don't let people make me a promise. Like, I promise I'm going to do something for you. I promise you can't say that shit to me, because promises is fugazi to me.
Promises meant to be broken, G. Like, that's a real statement.
My OG used to make promises, and she used to come through on them bitches
every
time.
Fucking time,
and it was like, if till this day in the world, she older now. Yeah. But if I don't take promises from nobody, but if my mama tell me she promised me something, she the only person I'm gonna respect.
That
I'm
gonna believe,
and I'm gonna respect off the promise.
Because it might not be tomorrow, but I know
she's
that
coming
what she
through.
Said is going to happen.
No matter what she had to do it, to get it, to do it.
Because she told me she was gonna do it.
She promised it,
so she got to do it.
Won't he do it? Yeah,
and my mama do it. And my mama also the same reason why I don't trust no bitch.
Hey, look, y'all
gonna tell y'all want me to get in there, or I'm gonna go ahead.
Hold on. We gonna say that one. Everybody share the live, man. If you're watching right now, share the motherfucking live. So I feel like we kind of like, my next question to you was something I feel like we kind of touched on already. We kind of talked about what we wouldn't pass on to our kids, like the don't talk back shit like that. And I feel like you just touched on something. What would you pass on to your daughter that you learned from your parents specifically?
My mother knew what the fuck a man was supposed to do.
Okay.
I give her that. And that's because of how she grew up.
Yeah.
With her childhood, her father and mom.
Yeah.
Shit. That's really like honestly the biggest thing that I will pass on to my daughter. And just to be emotionally available. One thing I can say about my mother is anytime that I came to my mom and was crying about some real shit, I can't think of a time that my mom didn't shed a tear too.
Yeah.
So maybe just based off me feeling that way, or shit, I don't know. Like she could have possibly related. Like she was my age once. Like, you know, I don't know what it was that triggered her to be so emotionally connected to me, but that helped tremendously in regards to how I am emotionally, because to have that support emotionally made me realize like how I feel is okay. I want my daughter to know that.
Absolutely. I think for me, that's dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I think for me, my dad let me be who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad was in the streets and shit. He selling drugs, all that, like gangbang, all that shit. And he never like pushed none of that shit on me. You know what I'm saying? And he always, his only thing was like, just don't let nobody play with you type shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm talking about from little, and I think a lot of men, we raise our sons like pit bulls, like don't cry, do 100 push-ups before you go to sleep. We raised them like almost the same way we would raise a dog type shit.
I feel like niggas raise their sons through experience.
That too.
Yeah,
That
meaning like the shit you dealt with when you was a little boy, teenager, growing up into. You telling your son to do them push-ups so he could be ready to knock a nigga out.
I mean, and genuinely, that's how moms should teach their kids too.
At any given time, you need your son need to be ready to knock a nigga out if he need to knock a nigga out. So do your push-ups before you go to bed. We raising them how
To
people
get ready
made
for
it
the shit
seem
that you
like
went
we
through.
was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You a boy. You a man. You don't supposed to have no emotion. You don't supposed to have no push-ups, knock a nigga out. You supposed hey, because he said what he said, and as a man, that was shit you heard coming up.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Do your push-ups. Why the fuck you crying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I
can't
think
cry.
that was like the toxic shit though.
That's
It's
about
like
the most terrible
the
thing.
the
right
not
there.
crying shit. So I think like when my dad, the thing I thought was dope was that like it was like always, defend yourself, don't let nobody play with you. But even as a little kid, it was like, nigga, I don't give a fuck if you cry the whole fight, just don't stop swinging. Like
Period. Mhm.
that's all he kind of expected of me. But he let me be me, and I like with my son, it's kind of the same thing. Like I make my son exercise, and we do boxing drills, but he also swim, he also play basketball. But my son is a skateboarder though. Like that's the culture he into, and it tweaked me out when that's what he chose. I wanted him to play basketball and box and shit. And he just like into these fucking skateboards. Like he wear Vans. He don't want no other shoe other than no fucking Vans. And I'm talking about he into the culture though. Like he
The actual like.
this nigga walked down
Gonna
the
have to buy
stairwell
him some
like
Thrasher.
bro, all that like
Yeah.
he wants skateboards on all his shirts. Like if he walk down some stairs, he like I could ollie from the top of this stairwell to the bottom. Like I do a
He
kickflip.
using the lingo and shit. He say
know that
Ollie.
shit though.
Fuck you
Like
talking about? That's beautiful. I love that. It's beautiful.
yeah, so I think passing that down to my son is just like, all right, you not who I thought you was gonna be, and that's 100% cool with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could be into whatever type of culture you want to be into. So I thought that was dope as fuck. If you next question, are you looking for someone that's similar to
No. No.
No?
Not in any way at all.
Okay.
Neither one of my parents, honestly. Just because the lack of compatibility between them. It's lasting. I mean, yes, but I feel like it's lasting because at this point, where the fuck y'all finna go? Like, what the fuck? But no, my mom was too dependent on my father. I could never imagine it. And don't get me wrong, I do want to be dependent. But
Dependent.
not without doing anything of my own. Like I don't want to not have nothing.
Like if this shit
for
ends,
myself.
my life
Yeah,
is
but
changing
I'm still
too much.
sad, bitch.
Yeah.
Like I cannot. We could just part amicably. Like I want to be in the position where it's like, yes, I do depend on you, but not for my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I depend on you to take care of a home like a man should.
Yeah.
So yeah, you paying these bills,
Yeah.
but nigga, I could pay these bills.
Exactly.
Like,
And that's how it should be.
I could.
That's how it should be.
My mother, no.
100%.
No, and I did not. I didn't respect that.
So with that
That's
being said,
tough.
women, be strong, get your shit together, be able to pay
Always
your own
have
bills.
your own.
Don't
Let
be
a nigga
dependent-
do for you if that's
let
what
a
he
nigga
wanna
for you,
do, but
let a nigga do for you,
always
but don't let
have your
it.
own
Don't
shit.
depend on a nigga.
Don't
It's
do not
independently
solely
dependent.
depend on that nigga. No,
It's
depend on that nigga, but do not solely depend on that nigga.
Facts.
Independently dependent.
And interdependence.
Yeah.
Interdependence. That's it.
Facts. Is it something about your parents' relationships that you do want? Like that you did like about their relationship?
Yeah, that shit lasting.
And that ain't always
That
good.
shit lasting.
always
It's not
good.
always
That ain't
good, but one thing I
always
will say about
good.
my parents is I have watched them tackle every problem head on.
And
That's what's up.
Head
and
on.
and that's teamwork. I feel
And sometimes I don't know what comes of it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm touching 30 now. I'm trying to get my own husband.
Yeah.
So like I can't really be as tied into my parents' relationship as I used to be when I was younger. Like, boy, I used to be trying to have therapy sessions when I was younger. You guys are walking around and you're fighting. Let's sit down and let's talk about this. Now I be y'all funny as hell. Get y'all shit together.
Yeah.
See, y'all gotta
And
go to
that's-
school.
And then I think that's coming. I
Like-
think that come with teamwork. I feel like if a nigga marries somebody, he might not even technically like you all the way, but
No.
he know that it's gonna work with you because he
Yes.
know how to
For a
control the
long
situation and he know how you are.
And I
You know what I'm saying?
And I see how you are
yeah.
as a mother, a partner,
Yeah.
a parent, or whatever. It
So,
don't matter.
I feel like marriage is more some strategic shit
What
than
year
it
is this,
is
2022?
actually.
My parents are about to. It's been finna be 40 years.
See, and it's
Damn.
just, and then when you get old, it's super. It ain't even strategic no more. It's like, man, look,
My parents are going on 40 years on Thanksgiving
We
Day.
together,
It will be,
goddammit.
I think, 39 or 40. Irregardless, let's just round it up. 40 fucking years they've been together. Married. That's married.
Right.
Because they've been together longer than that. My father doesn't even fucking live here. My daddy don't live here. My father has created a whole new life in Arizona. I love that for them.
He don't say
I
that.
love that for them because I genuinely feel like my mother is at this point in her life, and it's crazy for it to come at almost 70 years old. She needs this separation. She has depended on my father since she was 27. 27 years old. So now him wanting to branch, I feel like it works out perfectly for them both. She's going to end up branching too, but not right now.
That's what's up.
Not right now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Let me
They
ask you a
divorcing,
question.
like, you
Is
know?
it anything that you see dating that affects how you parent?
I mean, yeah, shit. I don't let no nigga around my kid. Like,
Okay. Well, I mean, like,
But
is
even
it,
in
when you
parent-
see how niggas treat you, and you see how niggas move in the world, do any of that affect how you raising your
I
daughter?
won't necessarily say it affects how I raise my
Yeah.
daughter. My experiences were automatically going to put me in the position to have to tell my daughter early on how real this shit can get.
Right.
I don't ever want my daughter to go into anything naive. My mother, I was an angel, so I won't say she thought I was an angel, but her knowing that like I was an angel and pretty innocent
Yeah.
kept her from telling me things that I honestly needed to know.
Yeah.
So when I did start dating and start having sex and whatever, my hair was fucking fried. Like, because you didn't tell me what I needed to truly know. I'm not holding any of that back in regards to my daughter. I hate to have to tell my kid that these niggas ain't shit,
All right.
but they're not. And I need you to be prepared for that. I'm never going to tell my kid all men ain't shit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, stay away from these niggas, period, because all of their ass is the same. No, that's not what we doing here.
Right.
But I need you to know that there's no way to veer it. You don't find out until you find out. So,
You know what's crazy?
like, there's no way to veer it.
You know what's crazy
The
about life?
facade is
It
crazy.
seems like love and relationships is the only thing in the world that don't change. Like, for example, if you listen to a song from the 40s about the
Saying
world.
the same shit, yeah.
No, if you listen to the song about in the 40s about the world, they might talk about so much shit that's just like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. I don't know what a telegram is. Everything is different.
But the
a
50s,
love song
it's gonna
is
be the
gonna be
same.
about the same,
The same
shit
shit.
from 100 years ago.
The same
Like,
thing.
and it seemed like that's the one thing, because I was sitting here thinking like, damn, my son might be living in a different world than I'm living in. So what can I tell him about women? But it's like that shit kind of
nothing's gonna
don't change. Like,
Nothing's gonna change.
it is crazy because like it's much throughout all my experiences with women, I wouldn't mind if my son met a chick in fucking first grade and fell in love and dated her for the
Yeah,
rest of
for
his
sure.
life. I wouldn't even trip
With
on them.
the
Like,
way that we are like literally
Like, how
30.
wild
well,
the
you're,
shit
you're
get out
past
here.
30, right?
Chill out.
So,
Chill
but the
out.
way that we're literally 30, let's just round down for you and round up for me. 30 years old, like we know from dating and from experience and from there's like, bro, there's like, what the fuck? There's nothing out here. This shit is trash. Like, this shit's crazy. Like, there's every chemical waste known to man in the dating pool. Like, I don't know. You try to dip your toe in that bitch, you might lose it. I don't know. Like, it's trash. So, in regards to like I'm gonna just say this, like, sometimes I do look back on the situations that I experienced early on, and I'll be like, I could have dealt with that. Like, I could have dealt with that if I would have been able to foresee the shit that I got to deal with now as an adult trying to date.
Yeah.
I would have just dealt with that.
Yeah.
Because at least I would have known, like, we're kids. So this is a boy who will eventually become a man and see, like...
And he'll know you.
And he'll know me.
Yeah.
He'll know me. That's my most troubling
big.
experience right now with dating.
That's
a
big.
motherfucker really knowing me. And not just knowing me, because you're not going to do it overnight,
Yeah.
but the real interest in getting to know someone.
Yeah. And I think that shit like that'll make you spin the block. Like, because it's like, this motherfucker know me. I got to read.
I have that's a valid reason.
For me, like, I have a bad memory, right? Mm-hmm. No one believes how bad my memory is. Like, people think I'm saying that to get away with shit.
To stop to be like, I didn't remember your birthday, bitch.
It's only one, like, my baby mama is the only person in the world who understand, like, how
Bad
real
your
that
memory,
shit is. Like, how, like...
Because you've been around you the most.
Yeah, like...
So it's like,
it'd be
oh, she
crazy.
motherfuckers be around and be like, oh, you really forgot.
Like, she
you
really
not
seen
playing.
me tweak
Like,
out on some, like, I can't remember what I wore yesterday. Like, not, like, the memory is gone. Like, I have no clue what I had on
Terry,
yesterday.
that's
Like, it's
kinda
bad,
wild.
though. Like, it's
Okay.
OC type shit.
All right.
Like, I'll tell you...
Like yesterday?
Like, I'll have the same conversation with you in the same week because I don't remember talking about this shit at all.
That
type
you've
shit.
done that to me.
Yeah, like, the
Yeah.
shit bad, G.
Yeah.
It's
And I'll be
kinda
like,
scary.
Terry, we talked about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad. So it's like, but it's like dating somebody new, and it's like, like, nigga, you don't listen. I told you about this. I was like, gee, I forgot. Like, I got a bad memory.
Because
And
it's
they be,
like,
don't nobody be trying to hear that
I gotta
shit.
remember this shit up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. So,
That'd be
yeah.
crazy.
No. I just go back to say, like, yeah. There's a lot of shit that I look back on and be like,
It make
I
it
could've
easier
dealt
to
with
go
that.
back and talk
I'll be married to that nigga
motherfucker.
right now. Because, like,
Right.
I would have held that nigga down.
And you your
years,
truest
like,
self when you early too. Before
Yeah,
the
you
world
are.
kind of
Because you don't know.
you don't know
what
and
to
you
do.
you untainted, and then just thinking about like the love you was given as like an 8th grader or like a high schooler, like how really in love you was with somebody before you got fucked up.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
It's crazy, too, because, like, the other dope thing about love at that age is that you know it's genuine. Like, at this age, it could be genuine. It's nothing wrong with women dating men and a part of it being what they can do for them. But when you was young, that shit wasn't even a factor.
I'm still like that, which is why I'm fucked up. So it's fucked up.
It was like
I'm
you
still like
knew if this girl was fucking with you, it was 100% genuine at 19. You know what I'm saying? Like, she not worried about what you can and can't do for her and shit
Because
like
you still
that.
live at your mama house.
Exactly. Let me see. What's our last question before we wrap this up? Did the type of people you dated before change after you had a child?
100%.
Okay.
I did not date with as much intention before I had my baby.
Okay. So what's type of niggas did you date before that is like it's over for them niggas right now?
Niggas that like I didn't care if like there was a future
Right.
with them necessarily. It was just kind of like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And this was only like, I mean, honestly, for like, it was only like for 2 years that I was able to have like my free, because I was in relationships. So like I had like 2 years in between a relationship, like a serious relationship, and having my kid.
Yeah.
So that was the time that I had to like explore and like really fuck with whoever I wanted, because I wasn't looking for anything serious. So I fucked with hood niggas, and I fucked with niggas that like, you could never like be with me for real. Like, but
You cute.
You can
you cute?
You can never be with him for real. Fuck you talking about. Y'all could never be with each other for real.
Facts. I mean,
On
I was
both
more so
parts.
saying it like, no, because I could be. If I wanted to be with his ass for real, I'd clean that ass up, and you wouldn't be that way no more if that's really what I wanted for real.
That's a whole different topic.
Right, but
you would never be able to do
But
that.
that's what,
would
yes, I
never.
would. We ain't even gonna get into that.
Whole
Let's
different
just save it
topic.
for another topic.
Save
That's
another
why
topic.
I said
We got next
you
week
could never be with
podcast.
me for real.
Nick, can you change a nigga?
Yeah.
Next
No.
week.
See, no. No, that's
That's
not
what you just said.
No.
Clean 'em up, not
Clean them
Clean
up.
him up and do what?
I'm not trying to be with me.
That's changing
You
the
can
nigga.
still do
If
your
you
little
cleaning
thug
him up, you-
miserable. But that's something that most hood niggas for real want.
Okay, can we?
Okay,
we-
so you
we
saying
closing
more
this
so you saying more so you changing his behavior, not who he is.
Yeah,
as a
I'm not
person.
changing who you are. I cannot take the street
You
out
just
of you.
changing how you move, and I
You
feel like
can look and be with me
Aesthetically
Eh,
or
yes, mostly aesthetically. Yes, I'm not trying to take the hood out of you. I can't do that. I can't take the street out of you. This is what you do. But if you're gonna be next to me,
You gotta.
you can't be having that outfit on for 2 days because you've been trapping. We're not doing that.
Okay, cool. We talk about that at a later date.
can do
Go
that.
ahead, end the
That's
show.
fine.
End the show.
Facts.
or continue it.
No, I'm
Anyway,
saying they was ending it. That's why
but
I said.
no, right. But shit, he done made me lose the goddamn.
My bad.
The goddamn. But no, it did change. I would never like date those type of niggas again, knowing that I have a. Like I have a. Like I have to show my child, you know. Like even with my kid, like my kid's 3. She ain't been around 2 niggas. 2.
How old is she?
3.
3? That's not a bad number.
I was in a relationship with both of them niggas, so.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think for me, the type of chicks I dated, I don't think my son made that change, to be honest. I think I only took a handful of bitches serious in life before, and I only took a handful of bitches serious in life after. Now, I was fucking anybody on both ends. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like who I liked and who actually had a chance to get a relationship up out of me, that shit was always kind of very strategic and selective for me. I think that the type of people I changed dated after I got more serious about what I wanted to be in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that made me a lot less tolerant of different people and shit like that. But I don't know. That might be a bad thing. I don't know. I don't think the type of chicks I dated changed. I think I've always been selective about who I would give a relationship to. Now, there was a time where, and I kind of still feel like this, and don't get me wrong, like if I met a chick who didn't have no kids and shit, and she was dope as fuck, I'm definitely dating her, and if we end up having a kid, it is what it is. But ideally, at this age, at this time, I be feeling like I want to date a chick who got a kid, I got a kid, we good. We don't need to have no more kids. I don't need, if we break up, I don't need another baby mama out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you take your kid, I take my kid, they could be friends forever, we could be cool, but that's that. It ain't like we broke up, but we got this kid together, and now we connected and all that. I don't want to go through that shit ever again. You know what I'm saying? So I be kind of feeling like, damn, that'd be a perfect situation if I met somebody with kids and they cool, they don't want to have no more. I don't want to have no more.
And I guess that's where my struggle come in at, you know?
What a struggle with what?
I got a kid. Like, I really like a nigga with no kids. Like, I want my second kid to be his first kid type shit.
Stingy.
That's not stingy at all. That's not stingy. It's just the fact that niggas' baby mamas really don't be shit. And I don't want to deal with that.
That's facts.
It don't have nothing to do with the nigga, honestly.
Yeah, that's facts.
It really be the baby mamas. Like, them baby mamas be so fucking like, bruh, please, you're ruining my relationship. Yeah. Like, relax. I'm trying to bond with the kid. I want to be cool with the kid. My kid love the kid. Like, the kid love my kid.
Yeah. My homies always tell me I'm like, blessed.
Yeah.
I'm blessed with the chicks, you know, my situations are cool. Man, Cam's Corner, what's up?
Cam's fucking corner, always sticking to the topic. Say it again, Boogie. Hey. This is pretty simple, pretty straight to the point. No, I gotta stop saying that because I say that and then I say like 3 paragraphs.
That's
so
cool. It's straight. That's straight and simple.
That is straight to the point, right?
It's what you need to say.
Yes, I just think that as adults, we need to go to therapy. Even if we did not have trauma as children. Because there are a lot of things that we don't see and we won't see until we have children of our own. And I think that sometimes that's too fucking late. So if you have experienced trauma growing up with your parents or with any adult figure in your life, go to therapy. I highly recommend therapy before you have the children because it's a lot to try to work through things with them while they're trying to learn themselves as human beings. Like you're bringing them into something that is completely unfamiliar to them while you're trying to get your shit together. It's hit or miss. I would strongly say get your shit together before, if you genuinely want children, try to solve your issues before. That way you can better apply yourself as a parent by learning from your experiences and being able to tell your children what's wrong and what's right, and also to treat them better. I realized as a parent, there's a lot of childhood trauma that I experienced that makes me a better parent but it's not like that for everyone. A lot of people parent negatively, and it's not to say they didn't want their children. They did, but that doesn't automatically make you a good parent, especially if you have negative experiences. So I'll just say, love on your children. They need it. They remember it from the start. Them being 1 or 2 or 3. They might not remember them birthday parties, but they going to remember how you treated them. They'll remember their traumas. Even from an early age, it doesn't matter. I remember plenty of trauma. And that's really it. Shit. I will say, let your experiences impact your parenthood, but at the same time, not 100%. I think that is very important for mothers and fathers to find their own parenting skill, their own way of doing their parenting. Because at the end of the day, this is your kid. This is who you have to spend the rest of their life with. Like they're gonna know you as their authority figure, their friend, sometimes their foe. It won't always be perfect, but at the end of the day, make sure your children know that they can always come to you about anything. Too many children experience assault, whether it be domestic, sexual, whatever, because they don't feel like, and the person gets away with it because they don't feel like they can go to their parent. Create a safe space for your children from the beginning. Shit, that's it. I'm not the perfect parent, so I ain't really trying to give too much advice. Like, I just got it all together because I don't. I'm very much still learning. But one thing I will say for sure, just from experience of growing up with my parents, create a safe space for your parents. A lot of shit happened to me when I was a kid that I feel like wouldn't have happened or maybe would have better been dealt with if I felt like I was in a safe space. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's deep. That's tough. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I think this is dope. I fuck with
I
y'all.
think that feels like we're parents.
I fuck with your
and
transparency.
Like, yeah.
Everybody was able to,
join in.
And
like,
I feel like this was one of them, like, we know everybody for how we know them, but the parenting shit got us on the
That's
real
a totally
so
different,
you
like,
see,
side of us,
yeah,
you know?
like,
Yeah, for sure.
To talk about.
That's a very serious
deep.
side of all of us, I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how that shit is, like, even the writing thing, that's, like, crazy how that came about. Like,
facts.
that's crazy. You never know how, like, the way you respond to a child can change
their whole view
everything.
Of everything.
But some of it can become a blessing. I think a lot of the fucked up shit we go through in life end up...
It depends on how you apply it.
Yeah, and I think
honestly.
even through this podcast shit, a lot of our bad experiences are the reason why we able to relate to people on the level that we're able to relate to them on, to even, like, transfer this podcast the way we do. But before we get up out of here, man, we talking about parenting, and you can't be a parent without making babies and having sex. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get this promo off. Toy box.
I was actually he did a toy box. It was it. Hey,
you actually can make babies without having sex these days, which is fucked up. But anyway, if
we
you want to
don't
do
even
it the
wanna
right
talk
way,
about that.
then you need to go to Toy Box
the
NY.
natural way.
Maybe just having
.com.
other
stop
people
being
babies in
banned.
their belly. That shit weird to me. Like,
Okay,
shit is
surrogacy
crazy,
is
man.
not weird. Don't say that's weird because that's not. A lot of women are unable to have children and reproduce children.
Oh, shit.
So if they choose a woman out here that they find suitable to bear their child with their husband's sperm or whoever.
I'm sorry.
Okay, there we go.
I'm sorry.
We was insensitive.
My
We apologize.
We were insensitive.
You checked
My
us. You
apologies.
checked us. But if
Okay,
you want to
end
have
the show.
a baby the regular way, if you can, toyboxny.com. You know what I'm saying? You know.
We gonna get banned if you can. Like,
Promo code Roseland,
Gee.
ROSELAND for 15% off at toyboxny.com, man.
get 'em
We
in.
appreciate y'all. Oh, Toybox NY also just dropped a new brand. You know how they got the shakes, the creamers, and all that? They dropped a new branch of their site called The Creamery, which is this, like, crazy nice lingerie. They even have, like, nipple tassels that, like, hang off, like the little graduation tassels. Crazy. And it's dope as fuck. And they dropping, like, a new lingerie set, like, every day until I don't know when. So toyboxny.com will get the promo code Rosen to get you 15% off of everything on that website. So make sure y'all go check that out, man. We appreciate y'all. Everybody listening on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Amazon, Audible, everybody in Seattle, which I don't know why so many of y'all, but we fuck with y'all.
definitely fucking with it.
And we out.